Hello. My name is Brad Rosenberg. I'm the general manager at Octagon Cleaning and Restoration, and this is podcast number 3 for us. Today I'm sitting with one of my veteran project managers, Brindi Riley. And Brindi, I was kind of curious. How'd you get started in this business, and what brought you to Octagon, and how long you've been here?
So I've been here 11 years as of March. I actually started at the bottom. I came into the field with no experience, started as a cleaning technician, and just absorbed as much information as I could, and just climbed the ladder, along with the growth of the company, which is quite significant since I started. And I've just taken a true liking to fire mitigation.
Why fire? What's different about fire than, say, the water or the mold or the asbestos?
I like the relationship with the client, the customer.
They tend to be a little bigger jobs, don't they?
They're larger. There's more logistics, a lot more what I call hand holding, walking them through the process, getting to know them. There's usually always an emotional element to it because it can be significant damage. Sentimental things are usually included in the process, and having to work through those emotions with them. I really take pride in working with them through that.
Yeah, fire were the ones I have been a part of, and I've seen that reaches all quarters of the home sometimes. Where other things may be more localized, so it's very disruptive
It
to
is.
people's lives.
Usually when I walk on a site, homeowners think it's isolated to a smaller area. But as I walk through the property with them or later with them, I can show them that the damage has traveled further, and that it's our job to take care of the whole house, not just a small isolated area. Because at the end of the day, we want them safe in their homes, put it back to pre-loss condition. And that includes not only the visual side of it, but also the odor side of it.
Yeah. Now you sort of open that up. What can a customer, a homeowner, expect? So they have a fire, they call us, you show up at the door. What does that inspection look like?
A lot of pictures, a lot of walking. If they're there, I try to have significant conversation to try to get a timeline of what happened. Most of them we know at least the likely source. And a lot of the mitigation process depends on what actually burned. Was it wood? Was it plastic? Because you have to attack those differently from a cleaning and odor treatment standpoint.
So, while a cleaning process is going on, while you have your technicians in there cleaning, what does that look like? How do you approach a large, fire damage?
So say there's demolition that needs to be done. The first thing we're going to do is set up some environmental controls to just mitigate dust particles, carcinogens from the soot, resettling on surfaces. Do the demo first. Sometimes that's followed by media blasting of some sort, depending on char level, the space that it's in, if it's worth cleaning versus replacing. And that's followed up by cleaning, which is a HEPA vacuuming, a chem sponging, which is a sponge that's specifically made to remove soot from surfaces, followed by damp wiping. And as we go through this process, we're trying to mitigate odor as we go. Of course, as we remove particulates and damaged materials, that odor is going to get significantly less. And then following all that, anything that can be sealed with a fire and smoke sealer, we do that. Usually it takes 1 to 2 applications to mitigate any lingering odors.
Now, when a homeowner has something bad happen like this in their home, and they're looking at different restoration companies to help them out, what type of things would you advise them to be looking for in a restoration company?
Somebody that's willing to work with you and walk you through the steps, because there's a lot of them. Another way is to allow the project manager to set up and schedule the different logistics, whether it's a textile company coming in to pick up all the soft goods and area rugs to properly restore them. Sometimes it takes specialty like art restoration, or a pack out or a storage pod on site. Just allowing the PM to really take that from you because it's going to help with the emotional side of the mitigation process.
Gotcha. A lot of fires are probably covered losses. How do you help as a project manager from Octagon? How do you help in that process with the adjusters and the insurance company?
I try to deal with the adjusters right from the beginning. Upfront conversations about scope, try to get a pretty significant hard scope. Of course, there's always things that will come up during the mitigation process, and when those come up, addressing them immediately so there's no surprises on the back end for anybody. And just doing consistent updates. Of course, different claims require different amounts of communication, but just being consistent with the insurance company. A lot of times you're dealing with multiple insurance adjusters. If you can meet them on site, that's even better because then there's less miscommunication because you're walking through the whole process right from the beginning with everybody, so everybody's on the same page.
What does the communication to the homeowner look like?
A lot of times daily, if not once or twice a week, depending on their preference. Sometimes they're even in the home while we're doing mitigation. So they're interacting with my site supervisors every day, my crew every day. They're getting updates from me. I'm also doing in-progress walkthroughs and final walkthroughs. And I'll even have somebody who's never been to the site come towards the end to help me with odor assessment. They're not used to the odor in the space. Sometimes I can't smell it because I've been in and out of the space. So if I have another project manager come in, fresh nose, essentially, to just help me assist in making sure that's taken care of.
Is there anything that a homeowner can do on their own to help or facilitate this process? Or is it something that they should just leave to the professionals like you?
I always recommend homeowners take their own pictures, especially of highly sentimental items. And it doesn't necessarily mean high dollar items, just that they have that memory, that tie to. Because sometimes it's hard to convey that to insurance companies. But if we're both on the same page in regards to that, we can assist with working through that. I've done photo albums where I've asked a homeowner to specifically go through and take a picture of every photo just so they had it in case it couldn't be restored.
Oh, yes.
Or collectible items. I've also included homeowners in dealing like actually moving of certain items because they're more comfortable with that, with us just there to assist if needed. I don't want to ice them out. They need to be part of the process. It's their items, it's their home. At the end of the day, they need to be comfortable with the process.
What kind of communication from the customer do you need to help do your job better?
Just ask me the questions that you have. Don't wait. If you have a question, email, phone call, text message even. I can't address it if I don't know. And sometimes it's a little question or it's something that I've already addressed, but there's just so much going on mentally that they just forget. And I have no problem having those additional conversations.
Yeah. What kind of satisfaction do you get personally from doing these kind of jobs?
I love it. I love restoring a home where families can get back into. They're comfortable in it. There's no concern on their face or in their voice. And they're okay being in their homes from a health standpoint.
Well, I've seen your work and I've seen people who just, they had something bad happen. This fire was bad. And even the small ones, or knocks people off their routines. So, I just want to commend you for doing this type of work, getting people back on track, getting children back into their beds. I think it's pretty cool. And I bet you when you were 10 years old, you didn't think you were going to be doing fires.
I did not at all.
It's funny how we grow into things.
It is.
And the right things for us manifest over life.
Yes.
Yeah. So you've seen a lot of fires in your career. I'm sure it's in the hundreds by now. Any fires in particular stand out as something that you remember special?
Yeah. I actually had a very large fire, probably the largest fire that I've overseen up on the mountain of a ski resort. The family was 2 weeks from moving in. A subcontractor left a rag with stain on it in a trash bin. It ended up combusting and smoldering over a weekend. We're talking a 7,000 square foot house, vertical square footage about 17,000 square feet, and we had to gut it all. This is a family home. It was supposed to be a retirement home. Wife wouldn't even step on the property. We came in, we gutted the entire property, had to advocate heavy for the homeowner in regards to that demo because you couldn't see the damage until we opened up a wall. You couldn't see the path of the smoke until the drywall was removed, and then you could see where the framing sat on that drywall. So there's a lot of advocating through that entire process, but at the end we went in, we did the demo, we actually media blasted the whole space, including the subfloors, cleaned it all, treated for odor. At the end of the day, we walked out of there with an extremely happy customer. His wife could actually step back on the property. They've just recently finished putting it all back together. And at the end of the day, we got paid for the correct scope of work. There was no corners cut, and it takes working with the insurance company, but at the end of the day, you're working for the customer.
Yeah, you said you were advocating. Who were you advocating to?
The insurance company.
Gotcha.
They
Okay.
brought in engineers. It was a large loss, so you deal with more oversight of your estimates and your scope of work, more reviews. And you just need the photo documentation to justify it and the knowledge on how to convey that to them. At the end of the day, what was needed to be done was done. Homeowners were happy. And like I said, now they're up enjoying the off season up there with their families. It's a beautiful property. And I was really happy to be able to make it a space his wife was willing to step back into.
That's great. Gave a family their home back.
Yes.
Great job.